So, the name of this book is called a Cthulhu Investigator Handbook. It's simple. So, I tried to start a Lamentations of the Flame Princess tabletop game in person, and we managed to make it through big terror in the streets. But then one of the players said, "Hey, I want to run Call of Cthulhu." And we ran that for a while. And then another one said he wanted to run 5th edition D&D. We ran that for a while. And then the group kind of broke up. Partially because I can't play on Sundays because I already have a game that day. And partially because of moving problems that one of them had. And so, anyway, I'd never played this game before, and when we had free roleplay game day, I made you buy something, so I bought this. I was playing it for a while before I bought this, and so let me show you my character sheet. This is a reprint of it. I actually scribbled all over the original, but I didn't know anything about this game, so I decided I was going to play a dilettante. I would scream and get captured a lot, and that would be my first character. She'd get killed pretty quick. However, when you have a useless character, you don't care if it dies, so you take all kind of risks that you ordinarily wouldn't, and often those risks turn out for the best, as happened with this one. She turned out to be pretty much of a badass because she kept doing stuff, taking risks that you wouldn't take if you had rolled high for your character. And so the rolls are made on a D100. So you can see scores here, 40, 65, 90, 75. And there are a whole lot of skills. That seemed like way too many skills, and it's probably the DM's fault that it didn't bother me as much as any version of D&D that Wizards of the Coast has put out, because the way he ran it, I would say, okay, I want to shoot my gun at him, and he'd say, roll on that skill. I didn't have to keep track of all these skills. I just role played, and he'd tell me how to apply it. That ought to be the way modern D&D is played. But yeah, so I haven't studied this at great length because it's not really my thing, but it's a pretty fun game. So let's flip through the pages and see what all's in here. So. Okay. So here's a table of contents. Yeah, so it begins with an introduction, then a little short story of the Dunwich Horror to illustrate what this game's about, and then all the steps of creating investigators, what the numbers mean, some period names, because the default world for this is the 1920s. Here's a picture I think I want to show off. Anyway, yeah, the default world is the 1920s. And there's occupations, a whole list of occupations and skills, investigator organizations, life as investigator, it's a chapter on the Roaring Twenties, some advice for players, and a reference. So, yeah, so it goes into an introduction here. And this Dunwich Horror is kind of a short story that illustrates what this game's about. I'm not showing half the pages because they're on the wrong side here. Yeah, so creating investigators. There's the steps. Yeah, so yeah, the stats are strength, constitution, size, dexterity, appearance, intelligence, power, and education. Yeah, there's movement rate. Yeah, how much money do you have starting? It ranges from penniless to a super rich. There are a whole bunch of period names, cash assets. Okay, occupations. A whole list of them. I start with dilettante. There's like archaeologist, antiquarian, assassin, bankball, cult leader, deprogrammer, doctor of medicine, firefighter, hacker, hobo, pilot, soldier, scientist, spy, prostitute. A whole bunch of professions you could be, and it goes into what are the game effects of being one of these things. And there's a computer website where you can go in and create a character, and it'll do the calculations for you. You just pick a profession, it'll plug things in. Let's go through some of this. Nice players. There's a reference index and things about firearms. Yeah, so it's a pretty fun game. I think that it's based on Runecrest, which I've never played, but yeah, it's got way too many skills. I don't understand why fast talking and persuasion are separate skills. A lot of these could be combined. However, I guess I just had a good DM. The way he played it, I didn't have to keep track of all these skills that much. I would just say how I would role play it, and he'd tell me what to roll. I'd roll a D100, and he'd tell me which one of these to look it up on, and that would tell me whether I succeeded or not. There was like two different levels of success. There was success, and then there's critical success, where something happens even better than you expected. So, yeah, Call of Cthulhu. Check it out.